Hello, beautiful souls. So, today we're talking about what could be blocking us from being visible when you have a spiritual business of any kind. So, here I talk about having a spiritual business as a coach, as a healer, as someone that wants to share their spiritual gifts and insight to better life of others through empowering other people, through making sure that people see how beautiful they are, how many gifts they have, the strength they hold, and how they can actually shine in the world. And as healers, a lot of the time we will have this fear of visibility. I haven't been so visible in this platform, and I was reflecting on, what was happening within me in the last few years. I started this business in 2021 more openly. It started before that, but again, I was, faced with my own visibility wounds. And I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted it to be beautiful. I wanted to, like, the lighting to be perfect and not show too many of, like, smile lines and whatever. And I had, like, a lot of, like, a list because I was comparing myself to, like, those that had, like, the best cameras and the best audio and the best everything. But that was all an ego trap for me to not step outside of my comfort zone, right? And when I was reflecting, because I have not been sharing as much as I wanted in the last couple of years, I've been going through it myself quite a bit. I had lots of healing. I was super isolated. I moved to a place where there was almost no one. It was not in a city. It was, really 12 house transit type of energy for those that don't know about astrology. And it was good in a sense that it asked me to face what was working, what was not working in my business, in the place I lived. I have been moving quite a bit. That's also in my natal chart. But this ability to share when you're already feeling you're like just going through it quite a bit is not that easy, because not everybody's gonna align with your message, and I don't do it because I think everybody should listen to me. I think I want to share my voice more this at this specific time because there's so many of us that are scared to share our ideas, our opinions, and who we are because somebody could say something that hurt our feelings, or maybe we're gonna shake the tree of someone, or maybe we're gonna be rejected. And that could also all be, you could think you don't have a visibility wound, but you're not actually putting yourself out there. So if you're not making the action of posting anything that you are creating because it's not perfect, because you have stumbled in your words, because whatever, there is definitely a wound there, whether you accept it or not at this point. And it's been something I had to face, but also I was not going to, like, force myself to do it from a place where I felt unsafe within myself. If you're going through a lot of deeper healing, energies are like past lives, and so many patterns and triggers are coming up, and you force yourself to, like, okay, I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, I needed to be really anchored in my self-worth, really anchored in my self-care practices before I shared that. And it's not because I didn't want to share. I shared it through posts, but not videos. I shared it through different things or in my smaller containers, but not openly for everybody to see because I was not ready. And I think if you're in this cocoon space where things are like, you're the caterpillar going into, like, this gooey energy before it gets into a butterfly, you might not feel like being online all the time, which is fine too, right? And I'm not saying everybody has to be online, but if you have a spiritual business, people have to feel you. They have to know what you're about, what you think, what is it that is important to you. And for me, authenticity always has been very important. Integrity, You know, I don't teach about things I don't know about. So it took me years before I shared astrology because I thought I was not good enough to share it. And I wanted to have experienced it more to be able to share it. Um, Shadow work, right? Working with darkness within myself, which I did a lot in the last few years. I'm good with doing that with my clients because I've done it so much with myself. I'm not running away from it. It's not comfortable, but that's part of the whole thing. So being visible, if you're like, you know, when I started, like being on video like that and knowing that people would look at me and might have judgments about me would freak me out so hard. But right now I'm like, I want to share my voice because I know something's going to click with somebody on the other side of the planet and that will help them. And I'm going to continue doing it however long I feel that's aligned because my message is, I am a woman that has had lots of lifetimes of persecution, lots of lifetimes where my gifts, my abilities, the uniqueness of my connection to the divine was persecuted, was I was ostracized. I had so many witch wounds and all these things, I was burned to the stake and I was chased after because of these special gifts and abilities I had. So understanding that this is also into the mix when we want to put ourselves out there. Yes, there is a part of us that's like, the managing what your mind is telling you, your ego, because your ego is not going to want you to be public with whatever things you're working through because it doesn't look very good on the ego side of things, But your heart will tell you that this is important for you to share your message. And if you get messages after messages after messages that your message, your voice, your story has to be shared, like this is your higher self calling you to what you came here to do. I don't know if you have a business. Tell me in the comments. Do you have a business? Do you have like what is the message you want to share? For me, I want women because I'm a woman, men too, but I work more with women. I want women to stop hiding. I want women to recognize that the voice they have, the powers they hold, the light, the dark, everything is okay. You have nothing to change. You're not supposed to be somebody else. You are you. I have flaws like everybody else. There's things that I don't like about myself, but I'm working through it like every human on this planet. And I still show up. And I want to be an inspiration for others because the path I've chosen was not one of ease. I've gone through trauma when I was younger. I had a very difficult upbringing. It was hard for me to have a voice. I felt nobody wanted to listen to me when I was young. So I got super shy, and then more trauma happened, and I was like, you know what? F you all. And then I got really like, a terrible adolescent, probably. Pushing limits and boundaries and just being like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I don't want to fit in your bus anymore. I never wanted to. And the beauty about being self-employed and having this is that nobody is telling me what to do, my schedule or anything like that. But it's also like I am the only one responsible if it works or if it doesn't. So there's also like this part, right, that can be sometimes a bit more heavy to hold. But you can get coaches. I got so many coaches in my life. You can get support like someone like me looking at your chart, looking at who you are, your profile, your past lives, your limitations, whatever your mind is telling you, whatever your story of your childhood is limiting you into. And let's break this box. You're here to be heard, you're here to be visible, one step at a time. So comment, share, whatever it feels for you to listen to me today. And I'm sending you so much love. All of my information is on my bio. Bye.